Imagine a street in a big city, the noise of cars, people rushing somewhere, the air trembling with hustle. And then right on the sidewalk, a person suddenly collapses. He calls for help, but passers-by keep walking past. Someone glances over and quickens their pace. Someone pretends not to hear. Someone simply thinks, "This probably isn't my business." Why does this happen? Why is it that the more people there are around, the less chance you have of being helped? Today we will break down one of the most famous and most troubling phenomena in social psychology, the bystander effect. And yes, understanding it is important for everyone, because one day someone's life may depend on it and on our own ability to influence it. And now the story where it all began. In March 1964 in nighttime New York, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was returning home. On an empty street, she was attacked by a man, and Kitty began to scream and call for help. And then windows in a nearby building lit up. People looked out, they heard the screams, but no one rushed downstairs. The next morning, the newspapers came out with headlines. 38 witnesses watched the crime and did nothing. Later, it turned out that journalists had exaggerated. There were indeed fewer people, and some even tried to call for help. But it was this case that made scientists seriously think for the first time. Why do people behave as if the responsibility for saving someone's life is not their personal business? And this is where two people enter the picture who changed social psychology forever: John Darley and Bib Latane. Darley and Latane decided to test the phenomenon in the lab. First, they created an experiment that is now considered a classic. A person sits in a room filling out a form. Suddenly, smoke begins to pour in through the ventilation. When this person is alone, almost everyone immediately gets up and reports the problem. But as soon as other people sit nearby, pretending that nothing is happening, most participants also sit silently, glance at the smoke, and continue writing their questionnaire. In another experiment, participants heard someone who they believed was having an epileptic seizure. When a person thought they were the only witness, they almost always rushed to get help. But when they thought there were many witnesses, the likelihood that they would help dropped almost by half. And so the term bystander effect was born. And what is especially frightening, it is universal. It happens to people of all countries, all ages, and all levels of education. In the first case, when we see a problem, but there are many people around, diffusion of responsibility kicks in. The brain automatically thinks, since there are many people around, someone else will definitely deal with it. Why should it be me? And so the responsibility slowly dissolves among everyone present. Next comes social uncertainty. We as social beings constantly read the behavior of others. If no one around reacts, it seems that maybe the situation is not dangerous or that intervening is unnecessary. We literally look at other people's faces to understand what we ourselves should feel. And another powerful mechanism, the fear of looking foolish. We are afraid of making a mistake, afraid that we will interfere in something we shouldn't. What if the person is simply overheated and we call an ambulance and make ourselves look like an alarmist? This is especially strong in big cities, where the culture of don't get involved is almost the norm. The bystander effect didn't appear out of thin air. Humans are social animals. Since ancient times, we survived not because we were stronger, but because we knew how to orient ourselves by the behavior of the group. Someone might think that this sounds like an excuse, but in fact it's an explanation. When our ancestors saw that the whole group was calm, the brain concluded that there was no threat. If everyone constantly reacted to every rustle, we would simply burn out from stress. The bystander effect is a side effect of this ancient setting, to orient to others before acting independently. And here is something amusing. When a person is left one-on-one with a situation, the likelihood of helping increases sharply. If no one can do it except you, responsibility becomes 100%. And exactly then a person most often acts. That is literally, alone you are a person, but in a crowd you dissolve. In the modern world, several factors make everything even worse. First, the anonymity of the megacity. When thousands of people are around, no one knows anyone, and the sense of belonging is almost absent. Second, emotional overload. People walk down the street with headphones on, in their phones, in their thoughts, in their problems, and it seems to them that trouble is somewhere out there, not nearby. Third, the smartphone effect. Sometimes people record what is happening on video. As soon as someone pulls out a camera, others think that the situation is already under control, although in reality, no one is receiving help at that moment. And yes, many people are too confident that someone else definitely exists here and will help. The world is big, after all, and this inner voice is the most dangerous of all. There's a simple but very powerful way to overcome this effect. If you need help, appeal to a specific person. Don't just shout for help that is addressed into the void. Look directly at someone and say, "You in the black jacket, call an ambulance." When a person understands that the responsibility is addressed personally to him, the likelihood of refusal almost disappears. If you see that someone needs help, remember, your reaction can trigger a chain reaction. Once one person intervenes, others join in. Someone has to be the first, why not you? And if you like these topics, if you want more psychological breakdowns and deep stories, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. This helps support the channel and the algorithms. Many people think that others don't help because they are cold and indifferent. But this is not true. Research shows that most people really do want to help. They simply don't understand that they are the one who must act. It is not a lack of empathy. It is an error of perception built into us from birth. Understanding this error is already half of its solution. A crowd is a strange form of existence. It consists of people, but behaves like a single organism. And the larger the crowd, the less individuality there is within it. Responsibility dissipates like smoke. And no one notices how, in these moments, we stop being ourselves. But there is another side. Every time even one person steps out of the role of a bystander and becomes an actor, the crowd changes its state. It was like this thousands of years ago, and it happens now. And in the end, one question remains. When that very moment comes, when help is needed here and now, who will you be? The one who stands and watches, or the one who takes the first step? Thank you for watching to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like and leave comments. I read each one, and it is very valuable to me. See you in the next video.